Mic check. 1, 1, 2. Mic check. All right. We're going to create a new Photoshop document. All right. So go to New, and we're going to make the width 5 and the height 7 and the resolution 300. We're going to work with gradients today. To make this fill the screen, you can press Control 0. All right. What we're going to first start doing is unlock this, and we're just going to name that background by double clicking on it, and we're going to add a new layer, Control Shift N, and we're going to name this Grad 1. All right, we're going to do this we're going to do a lot of different gradients here. First, we're going to use the marquee selection tool, which the shortcut key for you see here is M. We're going to use elliptical, so you can drag a shape out. If you hold shift, you can make a perfect circle, so hold shift and make a perfect circle. And we're going to use the gradient tool. The shortcut key is G. I'm going to speak kind of quickly like I will in the rest of the videos that I make. I'm assuming that you will follow me step by step, pausing in between each step, returning to the video and unpausing. So that's why I'm speaking quickly, to eliminate a long video duration. So I'm going to hold my mouse button down and choose the gradient tool, and I want you to follow the colors that I'm selecting. So I'm going to choose red, and I'm going to click on the white right here, and I'm going to choose a blue. And if you are like me and you choose these two colors and you do not see them represented in the gradient above, click on this. You should see red and blue up here. If you don't, click on this. You'll go to basics, and then I'm going to click the first option there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is simply I'm going to hold shift. If you don't hold shift, your line's going to drag left and right. If you hold shift, it will snap it into an angle, or up and down. So I'm going to make a circle that looks like that. Okay. So now what I want you to do is press Control T, scale this down, and move it around and see what happens. See, I'm moving it through the gradient. So we want to eliminate that, and how we do that, press enter on that. I'm going to right click on this, and I'm going to I'm going to rasterize this layer, sorry. And right click, convert to smart object, then I'm going to rasterize it. Right click and rasterize it. Okay, now I can Control T it, and I'm going to move it up here. So I want you to do these different gradients with me. All right, I'm going to use the lasso tool now. The shortcut key for that is L. Inside of the lasso tool is the polygonal lasso tool, and I'm just going to make a triangle. So I'm going to click. You make these shapes just by clicking your mouse. You can make a straight line by holding shift, and right here I'm just going to double click my mouse. That will close off the triangle, and now I'm going to change the colors to neon green and pink, and with the gradient tool I'm going to make a horizontal gradient. Now why didn't that work? Because up here it's not represented, so I just click that and now it's good. So I'm going to right click on this, and I'm going to convert it to a smart object that eliminates the mask. We'll get into that later. So, and I'm going to just keep that right there. So the next one I'm going to do, let's make a rectangle. So I'm going to go to the rectangular marquee tool. I'm going to hold shift and drag out a square. And now I'm going to change the colors in my gradient. So I got to activate the gradient tool first. I'm going to choose, let's say, light blue and neon yellow. And now I need those represented up there, so I just changed the gradient up here, and now I'm going to drag a 45-degree angle. All right, I'm going to right click on this, and I'm going to do rasterize layer. I'm sorry, not rasterize layer, convert to smart object. All right, and now I'm going to, next, I'm going to do a diamond shape. Why not? Just very similar to this, just boom, 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 to get in the shape, to get in the hang of the polygonal lasso tool. I'm going to hold shift, it locks into these angles, 45-degree angle, and I'm going to double click the mouse and it will end that off. That's an awful diamond, but that's okay. And now make your gradient purple and orange. And access gradient by pressing G and go up here and make sure that you have the right one selected. And I'm just going to click and drag up, okay? And I'm going to right click on that and make it a smart object. And now I'm going to click on the background layer, press Control I, And now what we're going to do is I'm going to merge these. So I'm going to select the bottom layer here. I'm going to hold Shift and click on the top layer. Then I'm going to press Control E to merge those two. And now I'm going to center this shape to the center of the screen. So first, with this layer selected, I'm going to press Control A. And now I'm going to use the Move tool, which is right here. You can press V. And I'm going to click this line right here. This means that the selection on this layer is going to be aligned horizontally, meaning this way. And now I need to vertically center it, so I'm going to click this button right here. It's going to center it in the middle. So I'm going to press Control D now, and now I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them on their own layer. So I'm going to press L, the polygonal lasso tool, and I'm going to go in here and use the lasso tool. I'm going to circle this triangle. I'm going to press Control Shift J. I'm going to go back to the original layer and do the same thing to the shape. Control Shift J. That puts it on its own layer and removes it from the layer it came from. I'll go back to the original layer. I'm going to circle this last shape here. Control Shift J. And now I have 4 layers separate again, and they're all centered. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add a mask to this, and I'm going to put a gradient on it so it fades into the background. So right here first I have this selected right here, this shape. I'm going to click this button right here. That adds a gradient, and now I'm going to add a black and white gradient. So I'm going to access the gradient tool up here. I'm going to go up here and make sure that I have black and white selected. And I'm going to click and drag down. As you see how it works, I'm going to Control Z that. I want to go the other way, so I'm going to come up here. And I want this thing to fade into the background. So I can adjust this line right here, the starting point. After you make it, you can adjust the starting point, where it ends, and this right here is the length of it. Okay, so I really want it to fade off right there. Okay? All right, now I'm going to go on to the next layer, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to do that to all these. So I'm going to add another mask, access the gradient tool, and then on this shape here, I'm going to do the same thing from the bottom up. So after you make it, if you hold Shift, it keeps it straight. You can adjust this stuff. I'm going to try to keep the fade right around here. I'm going to do the same thing to the next one. I'm going to put a mask on it, and with the gradient tool, I'm going to fade it into the bottom again. Now I'm going to do the same thing up here, and while holding Shift, the gradient tool selected, I'm just going to shift this up. Okay, now I'm going to double click on the background. I'm going to show you another way to make a gradient. So I expect all these colors to be the same. I'm going to click on Gradient Overlay, and I'm going to show you how to make a gradient. So yours is probably looking a little bit different than this. I'm going to go to Basics, and I'm going to change it to black and white. All right, now we're going to change this gradient here and customize it. So you can change colors on this by clicking this color dial right here. You see I clicked the color that I have access to now has changed. I'm going to make it a blue color. And now I'm going to click to add a dial right here. And I'm going to adjust the color to a pink color. Click OK. I'm going to add another dial somewhere in the middle here. I'm going to click on the color box. I'm going to change it to lime green. And now I'm going to click here, and I'm going to click that color box, and I'll make it dark green. And this is very ugly looking. So what I'm going to do is drag this down here, drag this over here, drag this over here. And I'm going to change this color to a light blue, and I'll change this color into a lighter pink. And this lime green is now going to become light green. And then I'm going to click OK. So if you have all these colors the same, I'm going to click on this so you can match it up. And that's it. That's where we're going to stop right here in this video.